everyone's still working on the parts. So we did the head, the neck, the shoulders, the rib cage, and now we're on to the hip. And be able to put that hip where we want it. It starts with a forehand turn. And we did this on the ground, wagon wheel, forehand turn. It can turn into hips in, at the walk, jog, and the lope. And it's just very, we need to have it if we want to move on into upper levels of training. So I'll let Dave Lee take it from here.
So she's, again, this is a forward movement. A lot of people don't believe that a turn on the forehand is a forward movement at first, but you'll notice his inside hind needs to come forward and under towards his belly button to make this happen. So she establishes forward movement, then her hands come slightly back to shut that front door a little bit. She's adding inside leg and asking that inside hind to come up under and across. She's got to control the outside shoulder with that outside rein, and she's got his nose slightly tipped to the inside so that she can just kind of see the eyelash. So you can see it's kind of like any other piece of your circle. This is a small piece of your circle where you've got control of the outside shoulder and control of the inside hind. So she's asking in rhythm. It's always give to the bit, break at the pole, seat, leg, add the hand. We're looking always for that inside hind to reach up and under and across. So if she's not getting that with her leg, she can add the dressage whip if she needs to require him to work a little harder at it. And he's coming through there quite nice. You can see him reaching all the way across and through. So without the wagon wheel exercise where we're getting in control of that outside shoulder, we can have some real problems with the horse just kind of falling through the turn on the forehand. They'll lack balance and they'll lack the drive that they need to make that forehand turn happen and be real crisp and real balanced. So you add the wagon wheel exercise, you've got forward movement, you've got control of the shoulder, you've got the hip moving to the outside, and then you can just bring them down into a turn on the forehand. So Cash is a horse that lacks energy. He's got quite a bit of gray most of the time. And so a lot of times she will do exercises from the jog just to add a little bit of energy. So here she's doing some hips in. Same kind of control of the hip type thought process. We've still got to keep control of the outside shoulder. We want that hip to move over, and we need that the drive from behind through our seat and our leg to make that hip come over. And this is what helps us with things like counter canter, which leads to flying lead changes. So it's just one more part that we've got to have control of. We need to be able to put that hip wherever we want it, to the inside, to the outside, doesn't really matter. Wherever we need it, we've got to be able to move it over there. And again, this is control of the hip. We're using our seat and our leg to control that hip, but we've got to help that shoulder balance, or else we'll lose all of our energy, and the hind end's going to drag out behind. You're not going to get the balance and the correct frame that you want to make that hind end work right. So we've got to be working with all of the horse's parts, but we can separate out the hip and work just on the hip through these types of exercises. Cash loves being our model. He's so happy.
this is quite advanced in that doing a hip, asking for the hip away from the circle while you're doing a reverse flex.
A lot of times we start it with just kind of turn on the forehand with the head the same direction. Will help teach them how to be able to manage that maneuver. So she can see she's going to turn on the forehand, but the head's the same direction as the hip is headed. So that's quite hard for them. They really have to be able to have control of the hip as a separate entity to do that. Here, backing a circle, very, very similar thing, where his hip needs to come to the inside and his head needs to come to the inside. And that change of direction she just did is extra difficult. They have to really be able to manage all their body parts to make that happen, because if we get a sticky rib cage in there, that can cause a problem as well. So this is one of those maneuvers where all the parts really have to be working well together in order to make it happen.
Right, so it is the give to the bit, soften the jaw, break the pull, the shoulders have to be working, and that hip has to be working all at the same time. And like David said, if it gets sticky, I have to fix that in motion. I mean, if you can't, you stop and fix. But to get to those levels, we're feeling, we're fixing all the time. Which piece of the horse is not working, and we want to be able to fix it without thinking about it too much. It's our muscle memory that starts working and starting to fix that. I'm not consciously thinking about anything I did there. I'm not consciously thinking. It's just happening. And that's what we want with all of our maneuvers. Obviously this never ends. We get something really nice and we advance. And that's what's so awesome about riding horses. It's just a continual journey and a continual challenge. So.
All right. So remember, all of this more advanced stuff starts with having it solid on the ground, where your horse and you don't have to think about it on the ground, and then you just start in the saddle. Make that forehand turn so you don't have to really think about it. You just think forehand turn and your body automatically puts the aid on and the horse says, oh, yep, I know exactly what that is, and you do it. And then from there, we just make that as a building block, and then we move on to these other more advanced maneuvers. So have fun with that.
All right, everyone, thanks.
Thanks.